Okay, so ready to trade in our beachwear for some stylish outfits. Today we're going to do a deep dive into Spanish clothing vocabulary.
Sounds fun.
Yeah, it should be good. You sent me this super cool Spanish lesson. It's designed for intermediate learners, and it's got this really neat structure.
Yeah, it's organized by body region,
Oh, that's cool.
which is a lot more intuitive than just like memorizing a random list of words.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like we're getting dressed from head to toe, but with Spanish words.
Exactly.
That's cool. So, speaking of head to toe, why don't we start at the top with headwear?
Right?
This lesson starts off with sombrero for hat, but it also talks about sombrero de copa, which means top hat. Have you run into that one before?
Yeah, I have. And it's a great example of how Spanish will sometimes use longer phrases to describe specific items. Like you'll see that with footwear too. Like they'll have different words for zapatilla, which is slippers, and pantuflas, which are house slippers,
Interesting.
where English just kind of lumps them all together as slippers.
That's a good point. I'm guessing this lesson is probably full of those kinds of distinctions.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Like, for example, they talk about auriculares, which can mean both earphones and headphones.
Oh.
So depending on the context, you might be talking about tiny little earbuds or big over-the-ear headphones.
Whoa, wow. So context is really important here.
Absolutely. Like, think about the word braga.
Okay.
It can mean neck warmer or women's underwear.
Oh.
Yeah. So you got to be careful.
You don't want to mix those up.
No, you really don't want to accidentally ask for the wrong braga in a shop.
No, especially not in a shop.
Yeah. And the lesson also points out some interesting cultural tidbits, too, like how boyana, which is a beret, is often associated with older generations in Spain.
I wonder if that's because they were more popular in the past or if it's just kind of a stereotype.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to dig into that.
Yeah, like how those trends evolved.
Yeah, because it's a reminder that language is always evolving and reflecting those cultural shifts.
Mm-hmm.
Like another example is how they talk about how tirantes, which are suspenders, are a lot less common now.
Uh-huh.
And cinturones, which are belts, are taking over as like the go-to for holding up your pants.
Makes sense. Fashion trends come and go,
Exactly.
and language has to keep up.
For sure.
So we've covered headwear, but what about the rest of the outfit?
Yeah.
Let's move down to the upper body. I bet it gets even more interesting from here.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Right, let's do it.
From cazadoras to guantes, there's a whole wardrobe of words waiting to be explored.
All right, I am ready. Let's go.
So moving on to the upper body, the lesson goes into like the subtle differences between cazadora and chaqueta, both of which mean jacket in English.
I bet there's more to it than just jacket in Spanish, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely. Like a cazadora is more often a denim jacket,
Okay.
whereas chaqueta is more of a catch-all term for any kind of jacket.
Gotcha. So if I wanted to say like a leather jacket, I'd probably use chaqueta.
Exactly. You'd have to say something like chaqueta de cuero.
Okay.
And speaking of specifics, the lesson also highlights guantes, which are gloves.
Okay.
But you know how we're seeing Spanish often has these more precise terms?
Mhm.
So it's not just about knowing the word for gloves. It's about understanding, like, guantes de invierno are winter gloves,
Oh, right.
or guantes de gimnasio are gym gloves.
So like the specific type of glove.
Exactly.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And they even touch on how tirantes, which are suspenders, are less common now.
Yeah.
And cinturones, which are belts, are kind of taking over.
Okay.
It's like a little window into those trends.
I like that. Yeah, it's really interesting how the language is always adapting and reflecting those changes.
For sure.
Speaking of adapting, let's shift our focus down to lower body attire.
Okay.
What cool stuff does the lesson tell us about that?
Well, for starters, it emphasizes that pantalones, which means trousers, is always plural in Spanish,
Oh.
even if you're just talking about one pair. It's like the language itself acknowledges that they always come in pairs.
That's funny. What about vaqueros? Those are jeans, right?
Yes, vaqueros are jeans. And fun fact, the word vaqueros comes from vaquero, which means cowboy.
Oh, wow.
So it's like a direct link.
That is really interesting.
Yeah, between the garment and its origin.
I like those kinds of connections.
Yeah, it's cool. And then they also mention chinos, which are like a specific type of fitted trouser.
Oh, chinos, yeah. Are those popular in Spain?
I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that.
Yeah, it would be interesting to see if maybe the trends are different.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So that's pants. What about shoes?
Right. So we've got deportivos for sneakers, zapatos for shoes in general,
Uh-huh.
and zapatillas or pantuflas for slippers,
But I bet they have even more specific terms.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like they even distinguish between chanclas, which are flip-flops for the beach,
Oh, right.
and sandalias, which are sandals for more formal occasions.
Gotcha. And what about alpargatas?
Yes, alpargatas are very popular. Very versatile and comfortable.
Okay, cool. So we've done headwear, upper body, lower body. I guess that means we're moving on to full body garments.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right, what do we got? Okay, so what about those full body garments? Like when I think of Spain, I think of like sunny beaches and warm weather, but I know it can get cold there too.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do people wear when they need to bundle up?
Well, the lesson makes a distinction between bata, which is a dressing gown you wear at home,
Okay.
and abrigo, which is a coat for when you're going out in the cold.
So one is for staying warm inside,
Right?
and one is for going out.
Exactly.
Okay, cool. What about formal wear? Like if you're going to a fancy event or something.
Yeah, they mentioned traje, which
Mm.
is suit, and esmoken for tuxedo.
Oh, right, the classics.
Yeah, the classics.
I bet no Spanish lesson would be complete without talking about Superman's cape.
That's right. They mentioned capa for cape.
Of course. And what about dresses?
Yeah, vestido is the word for dress.
Okay, I'm curious about bathrobes. Do they use the same word for bathrobe and dressing gown?
Actually, no. So albornoz is a bathrobe specifically for like drying off after a shower or bath.
Okay.
And bata is more for like warmth and comfort.
Interesting. So they have two separate words for that.
Yeah, that's a good distinction. So we've covered a whole wardrobe of Spanish clothing vocabulary here.
Yeah, we really have.
From head to toe, casual to formal.
How do we actually remember all this stuff?
They do have some learning tips.
Mm.
They suggest writing sentences with the new vocabulary,
Okay.
creating flashcards with words and images, and this is my favorite, emphasizing the importance of sleep
Sleep.
for memory consolidation.
Oh, I like that one. Does reviewing vocab before bed actually help?
Yeah, studies have shown that sleep plays a big role in memory formation.
Hmm.
So if you go over new words right before bed, your brain is more likely to process and store that information while you're sleeping.
Wow, that's so cool. I'm definitely going to try that. This has been really cool.
It's been fun.
Yeah, it's amazing how much we can learn about a culture just from like exploring its language.
It's true. It's been a pleasure going through all this with you. And for you, dear listener, we'll leave you with this. What other techniques could you use to learn and retain new vocabulary? Maybe exploring etymology, creating your own stories around words, or even incorporating music and movement. The possibilities are endless, so keep experimenting and have fun with it.